Jesus purposed for us to be in a place where we would be spiritually under attack. And the neato part is we all used to be those attackers. And He worked through us in each of our lives differently, but with purpose. We're to be wise as serpents. And harmless as doves. Now, Matthew 10, chapter 16, verse 28. And do not fear those who kill the body but cannot kill the soul, but rather fear Him who is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Now, we had just read in Ephesians, we were just told that we do not wrestle against flesh and blood. Our fight is not about killing non-believers. This is not Islam. That's not what we're fighting against. But we're in a world where we are under attack. And we're told by Jesus, don't fear the people that can kill your body. We could be under physical attack as well. I've been reading a great book, modern day missionaries in India that are getting stoned and put in prison and all sorts of persecutions that we don't face here. We are physically under danger at times, some of us more than others, but we're not supposed to be concerned about that. Again, our battle is spiritual. Our battle at times can be intellectual at all, but it isn't a physical battle. So that means it's one that even if you're physically infirm, if you don't have legs, you can fight just as hard if God grants that to you. Now, let's go to Romans 12, 3 through 8. We might actually cover more verses than those, but that's just what I have written down. In the Marine Corps, I was field artillery. That means we had a very large cannon which shot a very large round, a very long distance, and could, if it was the mission, kill a lot of people at once. But we also had motor T guys, and they drove our trucks and took care of the trucks. But we were all still Marines. We all still had one specific purpose in the end. We all had that thing in common, and so it is as soldiers of God. We're not all called to the same calling. The things that God's having me do in my life are not necessarily the things that He has for you in your life. So that's what we're going to consider here in how we fight. Romans 12, 3 through 8. Now, we'd already covered Romans 1 through 2. Let's go ahead and just start back with them. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may be able to prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. For I say, through the grace given to me, everyone who is among you, not think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, as God has dealt each one a measure of faith. For we have many members in one body, but all the members do not have the same function. So we, being many, are one body in Christ, and individually members of one another. Having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, let us use them. If prophecy, let us prophesy in proportion to our faith. Or ministry, let us use it in our ministering. He who teaches, in teaching. He who exhorts, in exhortation. He who gives, with liberality. He who leads, with diligence. He who shows mercy, with cheerfulness. It's important in verse 3, not to think of ourselves more highly than we ought to think. What the Marine Corps did, what I was taught and indoctrinated and burned into my mind from day one, is if you finish this, you're a Marine, and you're better than everybody else in the branch of the service, in any other branch of the service. Except for Navy SEALs and those guys, but they're an exception. You are the best. They are nothing. Yeah, they go and fight, but they don't do it like us. We were taught to be proud, and we are very, very proud as Marines. But what does pride do? Pride blinds you. Pride seeks its own. Pride seeks to puff itself up. And if you're just huffing and puffing there in battle, hey guys, check this out, I'm going to shoot this guy. Bam. Before you know it, you're dead. Pride doesn't have any place in the Christian life. Save it be pride in the fact that Christ saved us. Save it be pride in the fact that, you know what? All this stuff I have is because of God. Our pride should be in God, and God alone. And he says, for we have many members in one body, but all the members do not have the same function. So we, being many, are one body in Christ. And this is what I was just talking about being in the Marine Corps and having different jobs. We all had different jobs, but the different jobs work together. I used my job, my MOS, of artillery and motor T, basically the truck drivers, for a reason. We had a big gun, and we needed it moved around. We needed motor T to move it, and we needed motor T to take care of the trucks. So although our jobs were different, we were still Marines, and we were still achieving the same goal. Field artillery is used for support. If you have infantry in a city, and they're just getting slaughtered, you have them retreat to a position, and you blow up the building where the bad guys are at, and we're helping them. We may not see them ever, we may not ever get to meet them, so it is with Christ. Someone might be, you might have a relative who doesn't know God, and you plant some seeds, you see them, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and you tell them a little bit, and they don't, they're uncomfortable with it, they're not ready to hear it. Well, some of us sow, and some of us water. They might go to work, and the guy that they sit next to in their office, where they have to wear sleeves, and they got yelled at once because, yeah, they wore the tie, but they wore the short sleeve shirt instead of the long sleeve. The guy next to him might listen to a Christian station every day, and it might, it might agitate your relative, but it might water that seed, and it might grow. We all have different jobs. We all have different callings. Some of us to teach, some of us ministries of song, leading worship, things like that. But God has a purpose for all of it. And He's calling the shots. And you know what? He's got better intel on the enemy than we do. He's got better intel on the enemy than the enemy does. So although we may not understand how it all works together, we're all of the same body. And we're all soldiers of God. Now,